One of the things that over the years has really sort of become a trademark of yours is your voice, that rich, buttery, iconic voice of yours. And I was just wondering, I mean, you've been in some landmarks of animation. You were in Mulan as First Ancestor. You were in one of my favorite shows of all time, Avatar: The Last Airbender, as a villain, right? And so I was just wondering, when did you realize as an actor that your voice might be part of your golden ticket to success? And what are some of your favorite voice acting roles that you've played?
My mother used to say to her friends when I was born, she said she knew in the maternity ward because when she heard that stentorian yowl, she knew that she was saddled with a ham. I,
Yeah.
I owe this voice to her and my father. It's a gift from them.
Do you have any particular voice acting roles that are memorable for you?
I've done a lot of voice acting
Mhm.
films as well. I did Toshiro Mifune, the great Japanese actor,
Mhm.
but he wasn't playing a samurai in this one.
Mhm.
The film was called Retreat from Amchitka.
Mhm.
Uh, it's a World War II story told from the Japanese viewpoint.
Mhm.
He was the commander of a ship that had to retreat from one of the islands in the Alaskan uh, chain there.
Mhm.
And the title is Retreat from Amchitka. And I got to do his voice or his dialogue in English.
Wow.
And I loved voice acting because
Mhm.
I grew up on that.
Mhm.
In we say in camp, and we
Mhm.
within the Japanese American community, we know what we're talking about.
Mhm.
When I was in prison, uh, usually about sometimes once a month or so, and then maybe it could have been 2 months. They would the government would let us see movies, old Hollywood movies. The mess hall would be cleared away except for the benches, and we'd sit there and we'd see old Hollywood movies. Like I remember seeing Charles Lawton as the Hunchback of Notre Dame, and that was a memorable film for me.
Mhm.
A small kid, and we saw uh, movies very infrequently, and even more infrequently. Some of those films were old samurai films,
Mhm.
and they were silent films. But when they showed those samurai movies, it came with an elderly man who brought a young man with him, and he sat uh, at a small table at the lower, uh, from the audience viewpoint, left hand bottom of the screen, and he had various sound making implements on the table,
Mhm. Mhm.
and he did the voices for all
Oh,
of
uh-huh.
the characters, and this one man did the shogun's voice.
Mhm.
And the samurai would say, "Ah, so de gozaimasu." And the princess would say, "Ma, osoroshii koto." I mean, one man playing all those parts,
Mhm.
all those voices coming out of that. I found myself looking down at the left-hand corner of the screen, watching him uh, rather than the image on the screen. It was absolutely fascinating that one man could transform his voice so believably and seem to fit the movement of the actor's lips. And he had little symbols and triangles and coconut shells for sound effect. And my father told me as we were leaving the mess hall that in Japan they're called benshi, and
Mhm.
they were these people that narrated and playing different voices. And he said they are actors with the voice.
Mhm.
And then after the war, when we were finally released, one of the first things that my father bought was a portable radio. And I discovered another way of entertainment,
Mhm,
and I could have it all day long or every
mhm,
evening. All these wonderful shows like Cisco Kid and the
mhm,
Green Hornet
mhm,
came on, and it was all voices that
mhm.
transported you to the American West or to what was the word for Manhattan, Metropolis. You know,
Right.
all these. It was all voices and sound effects.
Mhm.